The Forgotten Realms are home to many a strange and fearsome creature. Here, we aim to discuss them all. Go not blindly into the unknown, adventurer. Join us in browsing the bestiary.
Welcome back to Browsing the Bestiary.
Welcome back.
A podcast that takes an in-depth look at all those creatures that put the monster in Monster Manual, the beast in Bestiary, and of course, the dragons in Dungeons and Dragons. I'm Dungeon Mistress Jayde.
And this is Lore Master Andy. That was a flawless delivery, Jayde. I'm proud
It
of
was
us.
a good one. Yeah, it was
very
smooth.
good. It was very good. Yeah. How are we doing today, Jayde? What's new?
Pretty good. Me and my husband just celebrated our 4-year anniversary.
Ooh.
So got some steak, hung out, had a good time.
Very exciting. I feel like in real life, steak is one of those few things that's a buff. You know, like you eat it and you're just like, I just feel powerful right now.
All the protein.
All the protein. Maybe a little bloated, but also I could fight somebody now.
Oh yeah. Mhm. The real question is, Andy, how do you get your steak?
Ooh, always. Wait, how do I get it? As in, how do I have it prepared, or how do I acquire it?
No. Do you hunt it?
Yes, I go into the woods. I find a cow.
Only real men hunt.
That's
for
right. That's
their
right.
steak.
That's right. I find a cow. Doesn't matter that it belongs to somebody. I kill it. It's mine. But no. The only just as the great Hank Hill stated, the only way to have steak is medium rare.
I definitely agree with that. Either medium rare or medium.
Mhm.
Anything above that, I'm like, you're a heathen. Get
It's a
on my
hockey
face.
puck. Yeah. My wife insists on always having her steaks well done, and I'm like, what's the point?
No.
Like, I could just give you a charcoal briquette, and you could chew on that, and that would be basically the same experience. But
I'm sorry, not sorry for calling you right the heathen. But...
no, do it. Tell her that more, so that hopefully she'll see the good news of not well done steak. But speaking of having great protein in our bodies and being ready to fight, we need a dice roll to figure out
Me too.
what we are talking about today. What a transition.
I think it was a good one.
Oh,
I think
thanks.
it was a good one.
Thank you.
Yeah, today's dice. I just have one die. And it is my biggest die. It's
Fitting.
probably the size of the palm of my hand.
Oh wow.
And it's a green one with a liquid core with a dragon eyeball inside.
Ooh, very nice.
So fitting for two ways, and you'll understand why later. But let's roll this thing. You're not gonna be able to hear the rolling, but oh, okay. A 10. Why can't I roll above a 10 for this podcast? We haven't yet to roll above.
It's been rough out there. Also we haven't calculated our in-person proficiency bonuses, so I'm sure that's part of it. But with a roll of 10, that is going to give us Hill Giants.
Hill Giants.
Hill Giants. Let's go. Okay, now before we actually get into the Hill Giants passage, I feel like I have to set the stage with the introductory paragraph on giants in general. Okay, this is from the 5th edition Monster Manual. Okay, so this is all giants. I quote, "Ancient empires once cast long shadows over a world that quaked beneath the giants' feet. In those days, these towering figures were dragon slayers, dreamers, crafters, and kings, but their kind fell from glory long ago. However, even divided among secluded clans scattered throughout the world, the giants maintain the customs and traditions of old."
Wow. I mean,
right?
I know giants are supposed to be larger than life. But that paragraph really just gives you a sense of how old and powerful this race is. And the descriptions are really good. I love that paragraph.
Yeah, right. We're like, the history is rich, right? Oh, there was a amazing fall from grace, but they're still strong. Okay, now contrast that with how the book introduces hill giants. Quote, "Hill giants are selfish, dim-witted brutes that hunt, forage, and raid in constant search of food. They blunder through hills and forests, devouring what they can, bullying smaller creatures and defeating them. Their laziness and dullness would long ago have spelled their end, if not for their formidable size and strength.
Oh no. I guess they're the most fallen out of
Yeah.
all the giants.
Yeah. Yeah, they it's like if you're the high branches, it's like, oh, you're not just in the ground, you're like in a crater in the ground. You
We don't talk. They're like the cousins you don't talk about.
Yeah, it's like, oh God, who invited them over? Man, they're gonna eat everything. They're gonna drink way too much. Probably
They're gonna bully
gonna bully
everyone.
everybody. They're gonna piss on the side of the house. Oh God. But yes,
Oh
before
man.
we talk about gluttonous eating and drinking, Jade, why don't you tell us a little bit about where giants kind of come from, at least as far as in the D&D world?
Yeah, yep. As I'm sure you all know, giants show up almost universally in every culture across the world. And the idea of giant humanoids has always been a fascination for humans.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you are loath to find a mythology or a folklore without one. So, as you can imagine, narrowing down a real world counterpart for the hill giant was very difficult.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And not only that, but many of these mythological giants directly correspond with one of the myriad of different giant subtypes in the world of D&D.
Mm-hmm.
So for now, we're gonna leave those giants out of this episode. So please hold your comments about us missing the Jotun
Mm-hmm.
or the Sheriff.
Mm-hmm.
We will get to those giants, I promise. However, if we do miss any giants that are equivalent to the hill giant, feel free to comment.
And don't forget to cite your sources. If there's no source, we're gonna assume you're lying. Okay, just
Yes.
putting that out there.
Big old liar. We're just
Big
gonna
old
comment
liar.
liar.
Yes, a hill giant sized lie. Right? Cite your sources.
Yeah, yeah.
This is a serious academic podcast for the children.
Serious. I have this in APA format, okay?
Yes, which you can see on Patreon.
Yes. Our reference pages are on Patreon, and you can find us everywhere on the social medias.
That's right. And remember, subscribing is free.
Mhm.
Unless you want to pay us.
No, unless you are feeling generous in your hearts, but we do not expect payment.
We do not. Just your happiness is payment enough. Until the rent is due. Anyways. Shameless.
Shameless plug. Yep. But getting back to giants, so most mentions of giants in early texts are usually referring to gods or titans. Many of these are a part of the culture's creationist myths, such as Panku in Taoist Chinese mythology, and Mbambo in Cuba, which was a kingdom that is was in now the Democratic Republic of Congo. And those two have giants as like their creationists.
Very cool.
These beings, however, don't really resemble the big and brutish creature we know as the hill giant. So, the earliest iteration of a hill giant real world counterpart comes from, say it with me, folks, the Greeks.
Oh, it's always the Greeks. It's always the
Always
Greeks.
the
You know,
Greeks.
as usual, I blame Zeus.
Blame Zeus for everything,
Yes,
honestly.
you can't go wrong.
So the first appearance of giants in Greek mythology was in Hesiod's epic poem Theogony. Not Theogony, Theogony.
They're different.
Or The Birth of the Gods, as it is directly translated. In the poem, Hesiod states that giants, who were different from gods and titans, were born from Gaia, the primordial goddess of the earth, and from the blood of Ouranos, the primordial god of the sky. Gaia specifically created the giants, or this one's hard to say in Greek, so it's gigantes. And it's kind of spelled like gigantes. But it's gigantes.
Yeah, I gotta get that G, but it's a Y. I like it.
Yeah. So she created the giants and the furies to fight the gods because she was mad at them for imprisoning her other children, the Titans, in Tartarus.
As one does. As one
Hmm
does.
hmm Mother scorned.
It's true. It's true.
Um, Unfortunately, so Gaia gave birth to 100 giants, all described as, quote, unsurpassed in size and, quote, unconquerable in power. Their appearance is described as fearsome, with long hair that covered their faces, and serpent scales that were on their lower limbs.
Okay.
And actually, in later sources, they'll describe the giants as having 100 heads and or hands, and the serpent scales on the giant's feet now turn into just literal snakes.
Yeah, which with that last part, I have to say, I was not ready for the artwork of these guys.
Hmm hmm
They looked a lot more like the artwork that you would see of like Demogorgon, where it's like, oh, you just have snakes for hands. That's weird. Or some types of like Yuan Ti. Like I don't remember if they're Yuan Ti or abominations or Malisons, where it's just like
Mm.
part of your body's a snake or parts of snakes. Yeah, you're like, okay, that's I guess. So yeah,
Yeah. Okay, great.
definitely. Yeah, yeah, okay, Greeks, kind of weird. Yeah, definitely different than what we think of. When we think of our typical like fantasy giant, which is just big guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Um. So yeah, they were born ready to fight with armor already on their bodies. And their favorite tactics were, quote, to hurl rocks and flaming oak trees at the sky.
As one does, as one does.
hmm hmm and so the war began between the giants and the gods, referred to as the Gigantomachia, or uh, Gigantomachy, where the giants got their asses thoroughly handed to them.
Nice, very good, very good.
Uh, Unfortunately, Guy's plan did not work. Yeah, so an oracle, of course, an oracle told
Mhm,
the
mhm.
gods that by themselves they could not defeat the giants, but if they were to recruit the help of mortals, then they could.
Hell yeah, go
So
mortals.
of course, Athena was like, well, I'm gonna get Heracles over here, obviously.
Obviously.
Um, yeah. So he killed a lot of giants in the war. Almost all of the gods, including the Fates,
Oh shit!
believe it
All
or not.
right.
Yeah, the Fates joined in this battle. So we got Apollo shooting arrows. We got Zeus throwing lightning. We got Hephaestus throwing molten lava, and we
Mhm.
got Athena who threw a whole island at a giant who was fleeing, specifically the island of Sicily. Yeah, so it didn't go well for the Giants.
See, I love that, right? Because these are all creation myths, right?
Mhm.
At their core. So it's like, here's this little kid like, Papa, how did Sicily get in the middle of the sea? And then there's the dad. It's like, oh, that's easy. Athena threw it at some giants during a war. It makes perfect sense.
Honestly, it does make sense. If the world was that simple of just describing, yeah, a god just threw that in the ocean. Duh, idiot.
Duh, idiot. Well, how you think it got there? Tectonic plates? Shut up, stupid kid.
Yeah.
Go back to your work in the mines.
Go pick grapes or some
Yeah, go pick
olives or
grapes or something.
something.
This wine isn't gonna stomp itself. Get stomping, boy.
Yeah. So, after the war, the giants were given various endings, as the Greeks like to do. They like to change each other's stories.
Mhm.
So there's endings such as being buried underneath a volcano.
Okay.
They're reborn again as a giant race of humans.
Very cool.
And if you're the giant Aristios, he was the lone survivor of the entire world who kind of just fucked off to the mountains.
I
He's
would
like, this was too scary. Bye.
I would do the same. It's like Athena just threw
Mhm.
Sicily. I'm out.
Yeah, yeah, seriously. And that giant, I think, was said to be like the only, quote unquote good giant. Just like
Mhm.
Chiron was the only
Yeah.
good centaur. But yeah, again, Chiron fucked off to the mountains too.
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
like,
yeah.
The mountains are safe.
Nobody's
They're
gonna
safe.
nobody's gonna bother me there. The gods live on a mountain, so they'll be like, okay, this guy, he's smart. Yeah, totally makes
Yeah.
sense.
So, yeah, that's the Greek giants. um, they're not quite what we're looking for in a one-to-one comparison to hill giants,
Mhm,
but
mhm.
it's a good place to start. So these next giants are a little bit closer to what we think of when we think about the typical giant. Though there's not much offered in terms of physical descriptions.
Okay.
Um, these giants come from the stories from uh,
Yeah, Abrahamic. Mhm.
Abrahamic
Yeah,
religions,
yeah.
the Judaism, Islam, Christianity.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
And they were often used as a symbol of overcoming seemingly insurmountable challenges through faith, of
Mhm,
course.
mhm, mhm, mhm.
Specifically, we'll see giants in the Old Hebrew Bible and or the Old Testament, as they're kind of interchangeable, right,
Yeah,
Andy?
yeah.
Yeah.
In Judaism, it's also referred to as the Torah, and I
Yes.
do
Yeah.
not know what that's called in Islam because I've not read the Quran. So,
Yeah. But yeah, most of these are like Old Testament, before Jesus.
mhm,
So
mhm, mhm.
a lot of crazy
J-Town.
stuff happened before Jesus. In older writings like the Dead Sea Scrolls, which contains the Book of Giants, um, these giants are referred to by several names, including the Amorites, the Emim, the Zuzim, the Rephaim, the Anakim, and of course the Nephilim.
Yes,
Uh,
the Nephilim, of course.
I feel like Nephilim's the one that most people have heard of. I haven't heard
Yeah,
of any of these other ones.
yeah. Well, I mean, see, this takes me back. The audience doesn't know this; they have no reason to. But now you get to know this. I went through 12 years of Catholic school, so like to me, I'm like, oh yes, all the M's, they're coming back to me. The M's and the ites. That's all the Old Testament stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. So the most well-known story of giants is, of course, the story of David and Goliath.
A
I feel
classic.
like everyone, even like secular people like myself, have heard of David and Goliath.
Well,
Um,
it's been an inspiration for so many different like basically spin-off stories about, uh facing insurmountable or overwhelming odds. So, yeah,
mhm,
it's a
mhm.
classic. It has surpassed just being a religious story. So, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But in case you haven't heard the story, we'll go
Mm.
over it for you.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
in the story, which comes from the Testament in 1 Samuel, Goliath, who is said to be around 7 to 10 feet tall, depending on the book,
Mhm, mhm.
is the fearsome champion of the Philistine army who have come to fight against the Israelites. Goliath told the Israelites to send their best warrior to challenge him in single combat. This went on for 40 days, uh, just challenge after challenge,
Yeah,
losing,
yeah. Hey, come out
until
and fight me. Nobody? All right, well, we're going to do this again tomorrow. I'll be here.
see you again. Yeah, so he's waiting there for 40 days, until one day a young shepherd named David, who was told to take food to his brothers in the Israelite army,
Mhm.
heard of Goliath's challenge and decided to take him on, bringing into battle only a sling and 5 smooth stones.
Honestly,
Specifically said that.
very brave, very brave.
Mm-hmm. And Goliath is kind of pissed at this. He's like, a fucking kid is challenging me. So he goes at him, um, angrily and kind of incensed. And David, is able to make one precise shot at Goliath's forehead, killing him instantly. Yeah.
Yeah, the human skull, right? No matter how big it is, still vulnerable to blunt damage. That's all I'm saying.
Bludgeoning damage,
Bludgeoning
right?
damage. That's right. That's right.
He didn't put much work into his head, only in his muscles.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, he min maxed way too hard.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. So that's this. basic story boiled down. I'm sure there's more like in-depth analysis of that, but we're just gonna go with that. Um, so that's the Old Testament, and then later in the New Testament, giants kind of disappear with the rest of the humans and the other animals in the Great Flood, and only reappear as Nephilim, who are now associated with fallen angels and with evil. And then the Nephilim kind of represented excess and depravity. They're always lustful and always hungry. Mhm. And this brings us to the more modern depictions of giants who also displayed the fallen qualities of the Nephilim, along with qualities closer to those of our hill giants.
Ah, yes, biblically accurate giants. Way too many
Mhm.
eyes, way too little body.
All the hands, all the heads.
That's right. That's right.
So, more modern giants appear closer to hill giants. Big, dumb, and hungry, specifically for humans. The the most recognizable iterations of these giants can be found in British children's stories like Jack and the Beanstalk and the BFG.
Ah, yes.
Mhm. I've never read the BFG, but we'll talk about it. So first so for Jack and the Beanstalk, the origin of the story is largely unknown actually. It is universally recognized as having originally been passed down through oral traditions.
Okay.
With some speculating the story to be as old as 5,000 years, traced back to Proto-Indo-European language.
Oh, wow. Honestly, I could see
Yeah,
it. I could see it.
that though is kind of iffy for me. I only found one article that was speculating on that, so I'm not entirely sure that's accurate, but I think it is accurate to say that it was largely passed down orally. How old it is, we don't know.
That's fair.
Yeah, yeah. However, the first printed version of Jack and the Beanstalk wasn't published until 1734, where it was published in Roundabout Our Coal Fire or Christmas Entertainments. They love their long titles.
They do. Yes, we had a colon for extra effect, don't you know?
And it fits too, because actually this anthology was more of a parody of all the like classic tales. Specifically for this story, they kind of took the Jack and Beanstalk story and wrote it as a satire, poking fun at the absurdity of the original story. And they they emphasize this by giving the story a pretentious name, calling it, quote, enchantment demonstrated in the story of Jack Spriggins and the Enchanted Bean.
That is the most pretentiously British title I've ever heard, and I love it. I love it.
I know.
No
I
notes.
think we should have kept it. I
Yeah,
think we should have
yeah.
kept it.
It's fantastic.
So, yeah. Later, a more serious version was published in 1807 by Benjamin Tabart, who called it The History of Jack and the Beanstalk, printed from the original manuscript, never before published. That is
Damn.
the whole title.
Only me, actually. Give me all the royalties, please.
Give me money. In Tabart's version, he added in more moralizing aspects, such as making Jack justified in his ultimately killing the giant, due to the fact that the giant killed his father and took his castle, which is actually Jack's rightful home.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah, an old woman, or I think it was a fairy, and an old fairy, when he climbs the beanstalk, she's like, "Actually, this is yours, and you should kill a giant."
She was like, "This is ye old castle doctrine. Fire away."
Yeah, so that's that version, and then there's another version, by Joseph Jacobs, and these ones are two of the most to the publications we see the most.
Okay.
So we see the moralizing one, but we see more of Joseph Jacobs' version. And the difference in Jacob's version is the fact that Jack is kind of more of a lazy greedy trickster
Mm.
and less of a moral angel.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the kind of Jack I remember where he's just like, I got this bean. I didn't want to sell it for actual food. And then he goes up and he's like, I'm going to steal from this guy, even though he's just sleeping.
Yeah, yeah. Or, well, Mom, I sold the cow, but I sold it for beans. And then, his mom is like, Jack, you idiot, you imbecile. We will starve now. Yeah.
Yeah. So in both versions, the giant itself, it's sometimes called an ogre, but it's mainly a giant, is greedy and lazy, and he's counting all his gains, ill-gotten or otherwise, and then he takes a nap. That's kind of the gist of the whole story. He takes a nap, Jack comes in, steals his golden goose, steals his singing harp, all of that, steals his gold. And the giant steals livestock to eat, but ultimately he prefers eating people, stating his famous line whenever he could smell Jack in the house, he would say, actually, Eddie, you want to do this one?
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I got to get my my giant voice.
Mm-hmm.
Fee, fi, fo, fum. I smell the blood of an Englishman. Be he alive or be he dead, I'll have his bones to grind my bread.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So we hear that line a lot, and actually, that line is quite old. Fee fi fo fum, I smell the blood of an Englishman is actually, well, it was referenced in Shakespeare in King Lear.
Yeah.
But it's actually even older than that. He was referencing, I forget what it was. I want to say Edmund Spenser, but I think that's wrong. But it's definitely older than Shakespeare.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, it's definitely
Mm.
old, and it's iconic enough that it got like an original Mickey Mouse cartoon reference in Spot. So that's yeah.
Mm.
The originals,
I did not know that.
Yeah, they were drawn from the classics. So giants.
Yeah.
You made it.
Yeah. And it kind of does speak to the fact that this story is possibly 5,000 years old, possibly. And it's just been handed down, and these lines have become iconic, basically.
Yeah. I think so. I respect it.
Yeah. So speaking of man-eating giants, they also make an appearance in Roald Dahl's novel, The BFG, or The Big Friendly Giant, published in 1982. In this story, a young orphan named Sophie runs into a friendly giant. He says he does not eat humans, but other giants do. So he kind of hides from humans because of the stigma. He's like, they're gonna throw me in a zoo. They're gonna take me to do experiments on. I don't want any of that.
Yeah. They'll put me under heavy chains. The soldiers will kill me. No. I stay out of the limelight.
Yeah. So Sophie actually comes up with a plan. She's like, let's get the other giants captured so they can't eat others again, and then you can be free. The queen will give you pardon.
Yeah, that's right. You can feed all of the big bad giant snoz cumbers for the rest of their days.
Snoz cumbers, yeah.
Gotta love Roald Dahl's writing. Like, what a way with words.
I do. He's a piece of shit, but
yeah,
his writing was great.
Yes, much like the late Edgar Allan Poe. Piece of shit, great writing.
That is the topic we were talking about before. Yeah. Pretty much all the great writers are kind of pieces of shit, to be honest.
Yeah.
Or they stole it from women.
Yeah.
Either way.
I think the only exception to that is Tolkien, because Tolkien was like, "Oh, the horrors of war have traumatized me. Let me escape into fantasy, but also here's the horrors of war."
That's fair, and I do love his letters back and forth with what's his name, Narnia books.
Oh, C.S. Lewis.
C.S. Lewis, yeah. I just love that they would just fight with each other.
Yeah.
They're like, lions are stupid in fantasy. I don't want it. And then C.S. Lewis is like, well, I'm gonna have a giant lion, and he's gonna be God.
Yeah.
Take that.
And Tolkien's like, God is dead and stupid. You weren't in the trenches.
Oh man, it did help their writing a lot. I really love I'm actually reading the Narnia books as a 30-year-old person,
Nice.
so they're pretty fun actually.
Yes.
I would read them.
Bring back writer fights. We need them back.
Yes, me and you, Andy, let's fight.
Let's agreed. But tomorrow.
I actually do. He writes the scenarios, and I'm just like, yeah, I hate that. Take that out.
Yes, she's my editor and my voice coach, and we are friends and foes at the same time, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Um, so yeah, getting back to the BFG, I mainly wanted to mention this story for the pure fact that of the bad giants' unique and
Yes,
gruesome names.
yes.
There's 9 of them. I'll just give you a few, but some of their names are are the Flesh Lump Eater,
Mm-hmm.
who is the leader of all the
Of
giants.
course.
Then there's the Blood Bottler, the Child Chewer, and and then Gizzard Gulper.
He do like them gizzards though.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, the BFG, it's a childhood favorite of mine. I remember that being read to me in 4th grade by, I think it was my social studies teacher, weird enough.
Mm.
But there's a line from the book that is forever etched into my brain. There's a scene where the evil giants, they're talking to the BFG, right, the big friendly giant, and they're
Mhm.
heading out to go to various parts of the world to go find some people to eat. They're like, I'm going to Egypt to, get whatever. I'm going to London to, like, eat the queen or whatever. And then there's one who says, I'm off to Baghdad and mom and all 8 little chidlers. And me as somebody who obviously has done a lot of on-stage work, I'm like, oh, cinema. 4th grade me at that time was inspired. And yeah,
I just enjoy puns, so that's great.
it was great. Yes. Go read The Big Friendly Giant. Do not watch the live action, or it's not live action. The CG adaptation. It's
Oh
bad.
yeah, I forgot they made a movie like that.
Yes.
Yeah, I had no idea what that was about.
Yeah. Read the book. Let your imagination and the silly Roald Dahl artwork do the heavy lifting.
Yeah.
But
Go read a book.
yeah. Go read a book. Speaking of reading books, this is a D&D podcast. So, we're moving into the original white box set. Okay.
Woo.
And hill giants, which are included, are actually mentioned by name as one of the possible giant types. The passage on giants is general and brief, and the section mentions Gary Gygax's earlier venture into publishing medieval war games before starting Dungeons and Dragons, specifically in a magazine called Chainmail, which was published in 1971, which was more directly based on Lord of the Rings and had a lot of creatures in there that made their way into D&D, which included things like giants, goblins, orcs, etc. Um,
Mhm.
so, in the white box set, giants are described as thus, quote, as stated in Chainmail, giants act as mobile light catapults with a 20-foot range, which is weird that this is specified in feet while everything else is in inches, but
Yes.
I digress. Due to their huge weapons, all giants will score 2 dice of damage when hitting an opponent. Wandering giants will carry from 1,000 to 6,000 gold pieces with them in their usual copious shoulder sack. End quote.
Mhm.
That's a lot to just kind of throw at you in one passage. Now, giants are stated that they appear in groups of 1 to 8. They have a pretty good armor class with an AC of 4, which, if we remember when we clarified in the Centaurs episode, the lower the armor class in the earlier editions, the harder you are to hit. So 4 is
Mhm.
pretty hard to hit.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah,
Mhm.
they have a speed of 12 inches. That's a lot. They move fast and can be found in their lair.
Not as fast as centaurs,
Not
but
as fast
still
as
close.
centaurs, but even though they're big, they still only have 2 feet. Centaurs have
Mhm.
4. Hooves, we're inclusive here, but they still have 4. And then hill giants can be found in their lair about 30% of the time. Now, killing a giant is no easy feat, but if a group does manage it, they will be rewarded handsomely with 5,000 gold pieces and a Type E treasure, which the party has a chance has a 30% chance of getting any 3 magic items and a spell scroll. Ooh.
Mhm. On top of all the money they get too. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a very big deal in, the very first edition.
A big deal.
Big deal. In the table that describes any interesting characteristics or features of different giant types, the hill giant entry states that they have 8 hit dice, lair in caves, stand about 12 feet tall, and are the most common type of giant encountered, with a 60% chance of all giant encounters being with a hill giant. So, long story short,
Mhm.
these are big, boring guys. This is definitely setting the precedent for the lack of intellectual ability that hill giants display in future editions.
Mhm. Mhm. I will say the height is interesting because we're just gonna slowly see the hill giant grow in size.
Yeah.
Right now it's at well actually it's gonna go down and then it's gonna go back up. But after that it's gonna go way up. So right now we're at 12 feet, so keep that in mind for
Keep
now.
that in mind. Yeah, yeah. The designers basically go, "Wow, that's too big." Then they go, "Wait a minute, we need to go bigger."
Yeah.
So now, moving on to AD&D, before the 1977 Advanced Dungeons and Dragons Monster Manual, hill giants appeared in the 1977 Dungeons and Dragons Basic Set. This set was kind of the in-between transition from, the start of D&D to AD&D First
Mhm.
Edition. Much of the rules were based on Gygax and Arneson's White Box, but with some edits from Eric Holmes. For giants, this section is less about the giants and more about how to properly measure the giants' attacks on the game board based on the information about catapults from chainmail. So,
Of course.
yes, we're moving from wargaming into fantasy gaming, but this still has a lot of the wargaming aspects to it.
I think Gygax was kind of holding on to that because you'll notice
Mm-hmm.
it's Advanced Dungeons and Dragons and then there's Dungeons and Dragons. And Gygax was on the Dungeons and Dragons basic set, master set, all of those.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Whereas Advanced Dungeons and Dragons was like, we're going off doing something else.
Yeah.
So you'll
Yeah.
notice they're kind of simultaneously published throughout AD&D.
Yeah. 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 Absolutely. Now, on Hill Giant specifically, the stats for them remains the same from the White Box edition, but with the addition of categorizing the Hill Giant's alignment, which can either be neutral or chaotic evil.
Mhm.
Now, what's interesting about the basic set is that it changes how it measures distance from inches to feet, but then we get to the AD&D Monster Manual, and it goes back to inches. So,
Yeah.
you know,
It's confusing.
yeah, they're just trying to figure out how the game works, right? We can't
Yeah.
fault them too
Yeah.
much.
That's fair.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah. Now, shortly after the basic set, we see hill giants appear in this edition alongside their other true giant kin in the 1977 AD&D Monster Manual. Giants are described as being very strong compared to humans, with strengths ranging from 19 to 25. Okay.
Mhm.
This gives them the ability to hurl huge rocks with ease, as if they were a catapult. Uh,
You're gonna see that a lot.
yeah, you keep going back to this. Although this is without any of the limitations that the Siege engine has in this edition to firing at targets in close range, right?
Mhm.
So if there's something right in front of you, you can still drop a rock on it. Nice. W Hill Giants.
Punch it.
Yeah. Giants are described as being mostly cave dwellers who always carry a large sack with them whenever they leave their lair. Now, this is kind of the introduction of the giant's sack, in quotes, which becomes a staple for the whole creature type throughout the rest of the editions. And in this edition in particular is said to contain a few throwing rocks, 1,000 to 6,000 coins of some type, usually gold, as well as objects and trinkets that are only of value to a giant. Of note, that last part is not elaborated on further.
Yep.
They just do not
Nope.
address it.
I kind of wish they did like some kind of like maybe a stick doll or something, or
Yeah.
like a favorite rock.
Yeah. Like, this is a cool rock, which I will say in later editions, designers are like, maybe we should tell our players what kind of things are cool in here that giants think are cool for
Mhm.
some reason. But this edition is like, oh, yep, nope. Anyways, hand wave that. Catapult. Um, Now, giants are described as generally being stupid, but also usually cunning as well. They will sometimes agree to bargain with other creatures, especially if they come to the giant from a position of strength. And they can sometimes be tricked by clever creatures. The passage states that it is not unusual to see giants cooperating with other creatures of similar alignment. And this is mainly due to their eagerness to obtain more treasure. So,
Mhm.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. Go off, chaotic and evil queens. Um, another part of the kind of general info on giants that I found interesting was this part of the passage. Quote, young giants will have hit points and can do damage according to a percentage of a normal adult male indicated by a dice roll. End quote. So, we have no helpless babies here. Giant kiddos are the size of elephants, or baby elephants rather, and pack a punch.
Actually, no. I looked it up. It's actually elephants.
Oh my god,
because-
okay.
Because elephants are like 10 to 11 feet tall. I think I looked it up, and the giant kids were like that size.
Okay, well, never mind. Giant kiddos are the size of full-grown elephants and pack a punch or maybe a club to match. Now, all the giant types have their own specific sections in the lore here. In their section, the hill giants are described as having tan to reddish-brown skin, brown to black hair, and this is of note because this persists through the rest of the editions, red-rimmed eyes, which, you know.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
It's a little terrifying when you think about it, because it's like, oh, that's just like a big guy. Oh, God, his eyes are red around the sides.
She's just really tired.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
Or
He's
really,
got a long day of bashing people with a club and like climbing up his hill to get to his house. I understand.
smoking that good giant kush, you know. Yeah, which if of all the giants who I think would partake, it'd be hill giants would be like the first ones, and then I think cloud giants after that. And then stone giants maybe 30% of the time. But that's a conversation for a different episode.
All right, these puns are getting out of hand.
Yeah,
now.
it's getting
I'm
ridiculous.
saying that.
Now they are set. I just got that.
You weren't making a pun?
I wasn't.
intentionally?
I was going.
Oh my.
I was going based off of the lore, but I get it now. Well, a stone giant, you say? Is it an indica giant or a sativa giant? Anyways, hill giants are said to dress in rough hides and animal skins and will use any weapons available to them, although they prefer clubs. Their alignment is chaotic evil, and they are described as having a low intelligence. Now, in this edition, they are listed as a large-size monster, specifically being 10.5 feet tall. You know, you might be saying to yourself, hold on a second, 10.5 feet tall, that's tall, but not that tall. In the previous edition, they were 12 feet tall. Well, as we said, their height will change as the editions go on, so just hang tight. Now, they have an AC of 4, a movement speed of 12 inches, and typically appear in groups of 1 to 10. They have 8 plus 1 to 2 hit dice and can attack once, either with their club for 2 to 16 points of damage or by hurling a rock, right? Going back to that catapult. Yep, catapult. Exactly. Now, the rock attack has a range of 1 inch to 20 inches and deals 2 to 16 points of damage on a hit. Now, new to this edition, hill giants are now able to catch large missiles hurled or shot at them with a success rate of 30%, which isn't a lot, but would definitely surprise your players who thought that shooting a ballista bolt at a hill giant would be foolproof, right? It's like, yes, that'll hit.
They tried.
Yeah. Oh, it caught it. Oh no. Oh, it's throwing it back. Oh.
Cinematic and also very scary.
Yeah, especially in this edition when player death is just the norm. Now, in terms of hill giant society, they are said to always dwell in caves or similar underground lairs, with the passage referring to these lairs as, quote, forsaken areas. Not really great at taking care of the places where they live, but, you know, makes sense, and this will be elaborated on further. There is a 50% chance that their lair will have other creatures as guards, with a 50% chance of them having 2 to 8 dire wolves, which, let me remind everybody, a dire wolf is the size of a small horse. There is a 30% chance of 1 to 3 giant lizards serving as guards, and a 20% chance of 2 to 8 ogres serving as guards. And speaking of ogres, this passage states that about 50% of hill giants can also speak ogre.
Only 50%? So if half of hill giants speak ogre, then those hill giants would have to translate for the ones that don't speak ogre. And I just can't imagine in any world where a hill giant ogre translated conversation would be any kind of productive.
Yes, yes. All right, right. Instead of blind leading the blind, it is the I don't speak well leading the I don't speak at all. Yes, hilarity ensues, maybe, or your players all get squished. One of the
They
two.
just get the plan completely wrong, and he's like, "I thought you were supposed to be here."
I thought you were guarding the treasure, and now the treasure's gone. Oh. Now, if there are more than 4 hill giants encountered in their lair, then numbers 5, 7, and 9 of giants encountered will be giantesses, who have 6 hit dice and are treated as ogres for attacks and damage. And numbers 6, 8, and 10 will be young giants.
Very specific.
Very specific, which like I kind of like it. Like
Yeah.
it's a lot, but I'm also like, you know what? That's great. They thought about it. It's more than just the hand waving we got with centaurs, where it's like, oh, the females just attend to the tribe and the I don't know, the young, they're just there.
3 to 30.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. The passage does mention that the DM gets to roll a percentile dice to determine how big the young giants are, which is kind of fun. It's like, all right, compared to a full-grown adult elephant, how big is this little giant?
Are they human size or the elephant size?
Yeah.
Let's figure that out.
Exactly. And I mean, let's be fair, we're both DMs here. What DMs don't like rolling dice? Come on, come on.
Well, I would like rolling dice if this would go any higher than a 10.
Yeah. That's true. That's true.
But anyway, so after the monster manual, hill giants star in their own module called Setting of the Hill Giant Chief, published in 1978.
Mhm.
This module is actually part of a trilogy module set called Against the Giants that features a frost giant and a fire giant module as well.
Ooh, very cool.
Yeah. So the module Setting of the Hill Giant Chief is a very basic one in terms of plot. It is a low-level one-shot in which a group of adventurers are conscripted by the nobles of the land to deal with an unusually organized group of hill giants attacking their lands.
Okay.
And conscripted, uh, the nobles are like, deal with these giants or we're gonna kill you. Like that's
Oh!
literally what it says in the module.
Oh, no. Okay. All right,
Yeah,
fair.
don't get rid of these giants or don't come back at all.
Damn. All right.
Basically.
All right.
Yeah. So the module itself is a basic dungeon crawler full of other enemies like bugbears and ogres who work under a sly hill giant chieftain called Nosnra. Nosnra. Yeah,
Noznra.
Noznra.
That's a very hill giant
Noznra.
name.
Yeah. And it it specifically says in the DM section that this module can be used as a one shot, as a part of the trilogy, or even the module suggests that perhaps an even more sinister force is getting the hill giants to work together somehow.
Ooh.
So you can incorporate this however you want,
Mm.
but it is easy to do because it's a very basic kind of module.
I like that. And there's also the, deal with those hill giants or don't come back. You're like, well, we didn't, so we're not coming back. We're going to the next part of the trilogy.
Goodbye.
Yeah, bye.
After that, in 1980, we get some lore on the deity of hill giants in the
Ooh.
famous Deities and Demigods.
Yes, great supplement. Go read it. It's great. It's great.
It's really cool. Yeah. Grolantor, the god of hill giants and Ettins, is a chaotic evil lesser god who resides on the plane of Tartarus.
Mm-hmm.
A little throwing back there to Greek mythology.
Yeah, the Greeks again. Fuck you, Zeus.
The Greeks. Grolantor appears for hill giants as a huge 25 feet tall and powerful hill giant, wearing a quote several belts of woven dwarf beards.
Weird.
And and carrying a giant club named Dwarf Crusher.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm not really sure where the dwarf hate came from because honestly, like reading back in the other editions, I'm
Mhm.
like, where did the dwarfs come from?
Yeah.
So I don't know if you have any insight on that, Andy.
Yeah, so okay. So the feud between dwarves and giants actually like goes back a ways. Dwarfs are said to have been forged from gemstones by their god Moradin, right? The
Mm,
forge master, the father of the forge, etc., etc. But long story short, dwarves have long considered themselves the like originator of their language and masters of craft, right? That's one reason why elves and dwarves butt heads so much throughout the settings because, dwarves are like, no, the stuff we make is the best. And elves are like, no, the stuff we make is the best and it's more elegant. The dwarves are like, well, our magic is better and it's more practical. So,
mm,
and so there's that. However, whenever giants and dwarves come into contact, giants say, and unfortunately, the history backs this up that no, actually, the language you're using is our language. You just changed a little bit. And actually, a lot of the magic and the, plans you use and blueprints you use for your stuff, we came up with that.
mhm.
The dwarves, however, deny this vehemently.
Of course.
Of course, of course. Yeah, and this has, of course, led to conflicts between dwarven kingdoms and giants, which we'll talk a little bit about more in later editions. But long story short, dwarves and giants do not like each other.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like dwarves are always fighting with someone. Like they cannot get along with anyone.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, dwarves, which I love the dwarves. They're near and dear to my heart. They're one of my favorite fantasy races. But yeah, they just kind of
Mhm.
have a chip on their shoulder because they're short.
We love our short kings.
Yes, as a short king, respect, respect.
Yeah, so that kind of sets up Grollantor and the Hill Giants and the Dwarves. Um, but going back to Grollantor's creed is pretty simple. It's persecution of all lesser races.
Oh damn.
Which yikes.
Yikes.
Yikes aroni.
Ooh.
uh
Just like it.
Grollantor would be a white supremacist.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Well, can
Don't
I
like it.
crush it? Well, then I do.
The shamans of Grollantor will follow his creed to a point of delusion, often refusing that even other giants are bigger than they are.
Yeah, yeah,
They're
it's
like,
so funny.
we're the biggest and the best.
Yeah.
And truly devoted hill giant shamans can actually reach up to seventh level in their cleric abilities, which
Mhm.
is pretty high for a low intelligence race.
Yeah, yeah, low intelligence and low wisdom.
Yeah, yeah, low wisdom. So it's all based on faith at
Yeah,
this
yeah.
point.
We're the biggest.
And yeah, we're the biggest, and that's where our magic comes
That's
from.
right,
And
that's right.
honestly, solid. That's what short kings should do. Like those people, the guys who are like have a short complex, they're not like, no, my height is my power,
That's
and
right,
that
that's
makes
right.
me strong.
That makes me strong. My center of gravity is low, and that's why I am powerful.
Exactly.
You try to topple me? No, I topple you.
Hmm. And speaking of cleric abilities, Grollantor actually himself is a 10th level cleric,
Ooh, oh damn.
and, and he has a plus 16 to his fighter
Ooh.
abilities, and he has 40% resistance to magic.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you guys remember, deities and demigods, they give a whole stat block for the gods, and it's insane.
Yeah.
And I love it. And Grollantor specifically has an AC of 0.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Just don't hit me.
yep. So no minuses to hits against him. Um, and he has 259 hit points
Solid.
and can move 21 inches.
Oh man.
Yeah. And he has a strength stat of 25
Casual.
with a +7 to hit
Uh-huh.
and a +14 to damage.
Okay. All right.
The damage done by his club can do 4 to 40 points of damage.
Which, as insane as that is, I need to remind the dear listeners, this is a lesser giant deity. He is at the
Yes.
bottom of the giant totem pole, which we will talk about. But like that's at the bottom.
Yeah. It's
Don't go
scary.
fight
It's scary.
gods. Don't do it.
Don't fight God.
Don't do it.
But Growlentor is rather weak in the psionics category, with a level 6 psionics, which actually, according to the book, is the worst level. So
Okay.
Growlentor cannot use psionic abilities whatsoever. But this also means he's invulnerable to psionic attacks.
Oh,
So
well, okay.
too dumb to use psionics, but too dumb to have psionics used on him. Who's the loser now?
Yeah, who's the loser now? My brain's small, but my brain's safe.
Yeah. Ignorance is bliss. Truly.
Yes. Bliss.
And then later in 1987, so 7 years later, Growlentor actually makes a small appearance in a supplement called Manual of the Planes by Jeff Grubb. This book is a really excellent supplement that gave kind of pivotal background information to the many planes of the Forgotten Realms.
There are many, yes.
The many. Particularly the planes on which the gods reside. Gods and the primordials and the elementals. All of those are on different planes, and this book gives insight into almost all of them, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's really cool.
And as mentioned in deities and demigods, Growlentor resides on the plane of Tartarus. And Tartarus is a part of the outer planes. So we're not going to get too deep into the planes, but basically think of it like a kind of puddle that's rippling. And there's a circle and a circle and a circle, and it keeps just going, right? And Tartarus is kind of one of the outer circles.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is the best I can explain it. And Tartarus actually sits between Hades and the Abyss.
This is a bad place.
Oh, the Abyss is scary.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll talk about that when we get to demons. And Tartarus is made up of 6 layers and is home to, quote, monsters and great evil beasts, and many evil powers in exile. So it's just an all-around evil place.
Yes, many lesser deities that basically got kicked out of the consequential realms and planes. They're just kind of there now, duking it out in their little kingdoms, fighting each other forever.
Forever.
Yeah.
And Growlentor is one of these. He resides on the 4th layer of Tartarus. Colothes, I think it's pronounced.
It looks like Colothes, yeah.
Yeah. Which is the most mountainous layer of Tartarus.
Okay.
Broken up by, quote, deep hell chasms.
Okay, very casual. Hell chasms. I like it.
And Growlentor, with a huge army of evil hill giant spirits and a band of, these are called Shader Demodans.
Okay.
To do his bidding, Growlentor has the right to be a little bit lazy, and he just kind of never leaves his cave. He doesn't check up on his followers. He's just like, I got people for that, or Demodans. If I tried to look up Shader Demodans, and I'm like, what are these? Because they're not demons, they're not devils. I have no idea what these are.
Interesting.
Yeah, they're like big. They're like alligator looking things.
Ooh,
big
okay.
and fat and green, and they have little wings, and they just reside on these evil planes. They are strange. I can't wait to do an episode on those.
Yeah. That might be one of our mini deep dives, but seems about right for something that a lesser deity would count as a servant.
Yeah.
Especially somebody like Growlentor, but we'll get into it later.
Yeah, they specifically said they're like toadying like sycophants to Growlentor. It's so funny, like the way they describe these guys.
Interesting.
They're
Very
like, they don't want to serve Growlentor, but he has army of evil hill giant spirits. So we're gonna serve him.
We gotta
So
do
we
it.
don't get yeah.
Gotta do it.
So moving kind of back in time, hill giants pop up again in the 1981 Dungeons and Dragons expert set, not advanced, just dungeons.
Oh, okay.
Again, yeah, not so in the expert set, the hill giant stats are relatively the same as the basic set.
Mhm.
But unlike the basic set, the expert set does give a little blurb about the personality of the hill giant, stating, quote, "These hairy brutes are 12 feet tall and very stupid."
We're not mincing words.
You're not. It says very stupid.
They dumb.
It continues. They wear animal skins and carry huge clubs and spears.
Okay.
These giants live in foothills of mountains and raid human communities from time to time for food and plunder. End quote.
Nice.
Yep. Just very stupid.
Very stupid.
Just kills me.
Dumb little guys. Or sorry, dumb big guys.
Big guys. There's no mention of hill giants in this set being able to throw boulders like a catapult, which is very uh surprising.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of unclear if that was taken away in the expert set or they just kind of assumed that you had the basic set and you were just moving on to the expert set.
Yeah, and also too at this point, like they're starting to make, Dungeons and Dragons as more of its kind of unique thing, right? It's
Mhm.
starting to become more separate from wargaming. So I like to think that was a deliberate choice on the
Yeah.
point of the developers being like, okay, and we're just not going to talk about that because like they're giants now, they're not catapults now.
They're not giant catapults.
They're not giant, they're giants. Look, they have arms. Does a catapult have arms? No, it only has one, right? So look how different.
Yeah. So that's the basic set. And then we're gonna jump back into advanced D&D.
Go to the time warp.
Back to our famous 1981 Fiend Folio.
Hell yeah.
Love Fiend Folio.
So good.
Where actually we get a twist.
Mm.
Featured in the Fiend Folio are actually two new types of giants: the Mountain Giant and the Fog Giant.
Oh, okay.
We're only going to talk about the Mountain Giant in this section of the episode, since Fog Giant is stated to be directly related to Cloud Giants, and the Mountain Giant is explicitly related to Hill Giants.
Ah, okay.
But as later editions come out, the Mountain Giant kind of becomes its own thing. And so we'll save the rest of their info for a later episode, but I just wanted to mention them real quick, since they're more related to Hill Giants in this book.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so compared to Hill Giants in the AD&D Monster Manual, Mountain Giants are very rare to see, most likely because they're found in their lair about 90% of the time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But why leave your cave at all when you have servants to do all your work?
Very true.
The Mountain Giants actually have a high intelligence. And at 14 feet in height, which is about 4 feet taller than the average hill giant, it makes them able to manipulate smaller giants and giant kin to do their bidding with all of the strength to back that up.
Okay. Big
Yeah.
bullies. Big smart bullies.
Yeah, big smart bullies. So compared to hill giants whose club attacks do about 2 to 16 points of damage, the mountain giant's club does about 4 to 40 points of damage.
Oh man, they're doing
Yeah.
a whole Grollentor amount of damage. Holy.
Yeah, exactly like Golantor. And like their hill giant cousins, they can also throw rocks for 2 to 16 points of damage and can also catch missile-like objects 30% of the time.
Okay. All right.
In their lair, mountain giants will usually have about 70% or 6 to 15 of the monsters they control will be ogres. And then 20% or 4 to 9 will be trolls.
Okay.
And 10% or 1 to 4 will be hill giants.
That makes sense.
In the lair, it's rare to see a female or young mountain giant. Though the section never really states why this is. It's kind of weird that they stated
Yeah,
this.
that is kind of weird.
I didn't like it. It says if if there is a lair of 4 male mountain giants, then there is usually a chance that a female and young mountain giant will be there, but otherwise a party will usually just encounter a male. I don't know why this is. I don't like the implications, so we're just gonna move on from that. I do have a theory though that's fun. I like to think that the female mountain giants are like female ents in that they kind of just fucked off away from the males because they were annoying and only come back once in a while to procreate.
Honestly, I can't say I blame them.
When I read that in the Lord of the Rings books, I thought that was the funniest thing. I was
Yeah.
like, "Yep, you go, girls."
Yeah, it's like, oh, you're gonna talk about shit for forever. Yeah, we'll
For
come back.
centuries.
Yeah, we'll come back when you're, ready to engage in more sensitive things.
Mhm.
Mm.
Mhm. So yeah, that's first edition AD&D. Now we're gonna move into second edition. And in second edition, we see the introduction of a lot of different giants, such as the space sea giant,
Mm.
the desert giant, the
Mhm.
jungle giant, the reef giant, the Athenian giant,
Okay.
the shadow giant, the crag giant, as well as new giant kin like the Firbolg, the Cyclops, the Fomorian, the Verbeeg, the Vulcan, and the Spriggan. That's all just to give you a teaser of future episodes,
That's a
but
lot.
that is a lot of giants
Uh-huh.
and
Uh-huh.
giant kin. But for hill giants specifically, we only find them in a few places in second edition. They first appear in second edition in the 1989 Monstrous Compendium Volume 1. And we were excited to see that this is where we start getting deeper into the lore about the individual giants. Before, giants as a whole would get the bulk of the passage, and then smaller sections would be set aside for each of the different types. But in the Monstrous Compendium, hill giants get a whole page to themselves.
Which is honestly, it was a much needed change.
It really, really was, yeah. So we have quite a few changes between first and second edition. For one, the hill giants get a significant growth spurt, going from 10.5 feet tall in the 1977 Monster Manual to now getting up to 16 feet tall and 4,500 pounds, which is now categorizing them as a huge monster rather than just a large monster.
Ooh, that's a
Mhm.
big boy.
Big
He's
boys.
a big boy now.
The hill giant also gets a slight increase in its hit points, going up to 12 plus 1 to 2 HP, and have a varying armor class with their natural armor being a 5 and a 3 when they don armor, which is usually made out of it's crudely made out of animal skins acting as leather armor.
Okay. Okay, that makes
Mhm,
sense.
mhm. Yeah. And about 5% of giants can actually fashion stronger armor out of metal from the armor that they stole from men.
Okay, patchwork armor, I
Which,
like it.
yeah, oh, this is a lot of armor, I
Yeah,
assume.
like a random pauldron here, a random helmet like over their knee or something.
Yeah. And this armor actually brings the hill giants AC all the way up to 0.
Oh man, that's
So,
like actually
yep.
insane though.
Yeah, no penalties to their AC.
No, no, dang.
Yeah. And the armor that is made out of animal skins are doubly practical due to hill giants often living in colder climates, usually living in caves in the side of the mountain.
Mm.
The animal skins are also a point of pride for hill giants, with more animal skins showing off their prowess in hunting.
Mm.
And I kind of I kind of imagine a hill giant in a fur coat, and they just keep putting on more fur coats on top, and like, look at my fur coat. I am the strongest, obviously.
right? Like imagine your players, they're trekking, through a snowy area. They've just made it through a blizzard, right? They turn a corner and then they hear like, thundering through the valley, "Gog, look, I'm a fancy boy." And there's like a hill giant wearing three coats.
Beautiful. Just like those floor length coats that you see
Yes.
on old women.
Yeah, yeah,
So great.
exactly. It's mink, Gog. Look.
It's
Look
feel
at
how
the
soft it is.
look at the texture.
So, moving on to Hill Giant's personality in this, Hill Giants are now described as, quote, selfish, cunning brutes who survive through hunting and by terrorizing and raiding nearby communities, end
Okay.
quote.
Yeah, that's very
Mhm.
like what you think
Yep.
of, when you
Very,
think
very Hill
giants.
Giant, yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
This means that despite their low intelligence, Hill Giants are actually very capable fighters. And this really fits in with their physical description as well, as they are described as having Neanderthal-like appearance with long yet muscled limbs.
Mm,
Mhm.
lovely.
So, yep, they look exactly as how you would imagine.
Yes, big and dumb, as was said before.
Mhm, mhm. And their fighting styles are pretty much the same as first editions, with hill giants preferring to throw rocks at their opponents from quote high rocky outcroppings unquote. Uh, this attack can only be done with a minimum distance of 3 yards now, so no more like just dropping a rock on someone.
Oh, I liked that. That
Yeah, yeah, I like that too, but
yeah.
it has to be minimum 3 yards and then a maximum of 200 yards.
Mhm, mhm.
So still catapult,
Yeah, it's
but
still catapult, that's right. 2 arms though, it's different.
two
Different.
arms, different. Hill giants have also retained the ability to catch rocks or similar missiles thrown at them 30% of the time. And on a hit, their rock attack will do 2d8 points of damage. In close combat, hill giants now favor their oversized club, which does between 2 to 12 plus 7 points of damage. And of course, defeating a hill giant will earn you the giant's bag, which
Ooh.
usually contains 2d4 throwing rocks, all of the giant's wealth, it doesn't specify how much, and then 1 to 8 common items. So this kind of goes back to, like the items the giants prefer. Now it's just a bunch of random common items that you can choose from.
It's like, I took down a whole giant and I got some boots that are
All
my
I got were
size.
these boots.
Yeah, all I got were these lousy boots and a rock. I'm sorry. Let me roll for
I
it.
got a rock.
Yeah, three rocks.
Three- Uh, in terms of society, hill giants now appear less frequently, going from common to rare. But now they appear in greater numbers in groups of 1 to 12. This time, their community is described as a tribal society.
Okay.
So most tribes are just kind of large families, with some families even accepting lone giants into their group. So
Okay.
yeah, yeah, just like random giants. They're like, hey, come on, let's go terrorize these people together.
Get in, loser. We're going raiding.
And there will be about 1d8 plus 8 hill giants in one lair.
Wow, okay.
So all of them just chilling there.
Yeah.
Uh, if there are 6 or more hill giants in the lair, then half will be male, a quarter will be female, and the other quarter will be young, with the young hill giant's maturity determined by a d4.
Okay.
So a roll of 4 is an infant with no combat abilities and has the same hit points as a gnoll. And rolls 1 through 3 are young hill giants with quote hit dice damage and attack rolls equal to that of an ogre. End quote.
Gotcha. I really like the specificity. So that you're not rooting for like stat blocks that you don't have. It's like, no, 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 no. This one's a null. That one's an ogre, right? Just don't tell your
Yeah.
players.
It's so much easier that way, and I'm surprised first edition didn't do that, because that's usually they do that. They just say, "Oh, this creature's a gnoll," or "This creature's an ogre." Just change it a little bit.
Yeah,
I think
well,
that's that's what they did with kobolds. They're like, these are goblins.
Yeah.
Just change it a little.
Yeah, just change it a little. Although, to be fair, in first edition, they're like, well, these are catapults, you see, but they're not. As Gary Gygax.
They don't have young.
Yeah.
They are cannibals.
Yeah, they don't have young idiots. It's a mobile siege engine. Come on, guys. Gary's like
with 2 legs.
yeah, Gary's like throwing like dice at his fellow designers. Come on.
Oh, Gary. Oh.
Oh.
So going back in a group of hill giants, there will be some chance that some of the giants will be of average intelligence. Ooh. They're smart now.
Yeah, they're smart-ish.
Ish. These giants are called giant kings.
Oh my god, I
or
love it.
actually, they call themselves that.
Yes. Short kings, get out of the way. We have giant kings now, and they
Giant
can
king.
do basic math.
You have to be at least 16 feet tall. Sorry, ladies. That's the new standard.
You have to be this tall. No, I'm not gonna finish that. I'm not gonna finish that.
No, nope.
Carry on.
So these giant kings will often be able to rally together larger than normal groups of giants, oftentimes being 2 to 4 times larger than the size of an average tribe.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah. So they just kind of gather like 2 or 4 families and just bring them all together. And this giant will often coordinate the raids on human settlements or on other giant tribes. And when they're not fighting or raiding, the giants will sometimes trade with other groups of giants or ogres for food and trinkets. And usually that's coordinated by the giant king.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, I really like that addition. All of it, but especially that one to the hill giant lore, because
Yeah.
they feel much more distinct now. Instead of like, yeah, it's a type of giant. It may have been a catapult. Don't worry about it. Here you go. They're stinky and dumb.
Yeah, I like all of the additions to the lore. And one final tidbit that the Monstrous Compendium throws in about hill giants is the feud going on between hill giants and green dragons.
Ooh.
Yeah, so it says a hill giant's diet usually consists of meat, and young green giants are considered a delicacy.
Okay.
So hill giants will often form raiding parties in search of a green dragon's lair. Of course, in turn, the green dragons will hunt down hill giants to protect their own kind.
Makes sense.
So this feud kind of sets up lore about a war in which giants and dragons have always been fighting. We'll talk about that later, but this kind of sets up that precedent of giants and dragons hating each other.
Yes, good foreshadowing, designers.
Yeah. So that's the Monstrous Compendium, Volume 1. Next, in 1989, we get a really well-researched article in Dragon. This issue is number 41 by Randall S. Doring. It is titled Orcs Throw Spells Too.
Okay, I'm interested.
Yeah, it's really good. So in this article, Doring brings up the issue of there not being enough information on humanoid spellcasters.
Okay.
Wizards? Are we getting wizards?
Wizards, maybe.
So spellcasting, he says, is usually relegated to humans and demi-humans, and the small percentage of humanoid spellcasters that do exist only get little information about their spellcasting abilities. So, what Doring decided to do was use information from the Dungeon Master's Guide, Legends and Lore, which is basically just a reprinting of deities and demigods.
Ah, okay. Nice.
The Fiend Folio, Monster Manual 2, and some of the new spells from Unearthed Arcana, which you'll hear Unearthed Arcana a lot. Basically, it's just when the game designers are testing new spells or new attacks. And sometimes it makes it into the official edition, sometimes it doesn't. Here, Doring took from that anyway, and so he took all of that and creates his own comprehensive guide to building humanoid NPC spellcasters.
Very cool. Very cool.
very in depth. I really enjoyed this article. Um, in continue on. Doring explains the percentage of spellcasters there are in each group, which spells are accessible to them, how they use magic items, where they get their powers from, be it divine, natural, or even through study,
Okay.
and what kind of spellcasters there are, with the two main classes of humanoid spellcasters being shaman and the rarer witch doctor.
Ooh, I told the witch doctor, and he said I'm rare. You see.
Yep. So no wizards, but close enough,
Close
I
enough.
guess.
Oh yeah. I
They're
honorary wizards.
honorary wizards,
hmm
yes.
hmm
So for hill giants specifically, Doring states that their magic usually comes from the divine due to their worship of their deity Grolantor.
Makes sense.
Grolantor does not require hill giant shamans to give sacrifices for his favor, but most of the time shamans do it anyway, using their enemies as sacrifice or just by giving small valuables, probably stolen from their enemies.
Yeah, it's like, look, we have no indication whether or not this is necessary, but it seems to be working. So sorry.
Grolantor's just on Tartarus, like, you don't have to do that. It's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah. It's like I feel like is somebody burning a small humanoid in my favor? Ah, must be the wind.
Of course, Grolantor does choose his favorites. And those shamans who are diligent in their worship will have a 5% chance of receiving a magical club with
Ooh.
a +4 to hit and to damage against dwarves.
It's
Just
very
against dwarves.
yeah, only against dwarfs. That's
Yeah.
just specific enough to be hilarious. I love it.
Very specific. The other funny specificity is the club can only be used by the hill giant shaman, and is useless to any other hill giant trying to use it.
Oh, I love that. Imagine the confusion. These poor dumb tribe members thinking they got the shiny magic club, and when they try to use it, it's just a club.
Mhm. It just I feel like it would be more of like a inflatable club. They try to hit with it and it's just like boink.
Yeah, it squeaks.
Yeah.
Why club no work?
Give me that.
Yeah, give me that, you idiot. You have no idea how to use it. It's a club, a hunk of wood.
But then I wonder too. Oh, so it's just like a regular club against any other being besides dwarves? Like
Yeah,
that just seems silly.
it's so perfectly hill giant. I love it.
Yeah, like they just have it on a mantle, like break in case of dwarf.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
the only time they use
that's
it.
right. Well, we could step on them, but you see, our God, who doesn't talk to us, gave us this magic club, so
Obviously,
obviously
we're
we're gonna
gonna use
use
it
it.
for that. So yeah, that's that article. Really, really love it.
It's beautiful.
There's a ton of other spellcasters, gnolls, and kobolds, and all kinds of other humanoid beings that you don't usually see as spellcasters. So, definitely give that article a look.
Very cool.
Moving on, we're once again moving back from AD&D to D&D, uh, where we see the hill giant reappear in the 1991 Dungeons and Dragons Rule Cyclopedia.
Okay.
And we mentioned this before. Uh, the encyclopedia takes on the task of just compiling all the rules from the basic expert, master, and companion set that we talked about. So this is just all of D&D in one book now.
Yeah. Now it's in one easy to find place. Thank the gods.
Yeah. And then for giants as a whole, the rules cyclopedia arranges them into lesser giants. These are the fire, frost, hill, and stone giants. And then into greater giants, which are the cloud, mountain, sea, and storm giants.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So the section states that lesser giants are usually quote, crudely formed and ugly,
Fair, fair.
and are more willing to work under humans or other tougher beings.
Okay.
Mhm. Yeah, whereas the greater giants are more human-like in their form and their nature. They have less prejudice against adventurers and are fond of hosting them in their lair. Mhm.
Hello, fellow adventurer. Unlike my lower brethren, I'm not ugly, so let's have a meal.
I think that that's just a storm giant.
Yeah. Oh, well,
That's
and
just
the cloud
that's just what
giants.
they. Oh yeah, the
Yeah,
cloud giants too.
they're very
They're
pretty.
just so haughty.
They yeah, oh, yes. Hot though they may be, they are very haughty.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
have fangs for some weird reason, but that's not important.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, we'll definitely talk about that later.
Yeah,
But
we'll talk about that in the cloud giant episode.
yeah. In Rules Cyclopedia, hill giants basically verbatim from the text before, so we won't get into that, and we'll move straight on to the 1993 Monstrous Manual,
Hmm.
which is basically a verbatim copy of Monstrous Compendium.
Okay.
So again, then we'll move again to Giant Craft, which is a pivotal supplement for giants and giant kin.
Mm-hmm.
This is by Ray Winninger, published in 1995.
Mm-hmm.
Giant Craft is almost a novel in itself, with just the huge amount of information it presents on the background of giants and giantkin.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Andy will get in this, but a little bit of background. It gives the ancient history of the giants and their origin from Anam, the Allfather, a great giant god who took interest in Toril, which again is the main planet in the Forgotten Realms
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
campaign, and he decided to create life there, bringing forth the first giants long before the existence of elves, humans, or even dragons.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm. The supplement's narrator speaks. They speak kind of as if they are a historian in the Forgotten Realms.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it's very much like you're reading a book and they're telling you about their lands. And it gives the long history of the giants as told by the giants themselves. So all these records, the narrator's kind of compiling from giant lore and other accounts of giants.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And this supplement goes in depth into the differences between the different giant and giant kin races, where they commonly reside. There's a whole giant language with a glossary.
Mm-hmm.
Um, this supplement goes so in depth that it has a poem about the betrayal between the giants and the dragons, and
Yeah.
then it has an analysis of that poem.
Yeah, it comes with its own like footnotes from the perspective of the
Mhm.
speaker who is translating the poem to you, the reader. It's insane.
Yes.
It's
It's
so
it's
cool.
wonderful. It actually reminds me of one of my favorite books, Pale Fire by Vladimir Nabokov.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
just so good at just like putting narrative into something that you wouldn't think would be a narrative. Like analysis of a poem.
yeah.
So good, so good. Really love this book. But the most important piece of information Giant Craft introduces is the ordning. And Andy, why don't you tell us about the ordning? Because I know you know a lot about this subject.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I knew a lot. Or well, first of all, right before we go on to third edition, right? We have to talk about the ordning.
It kind of sounds like when you say that, it sounds like you're sitting your kids down to tell them about the birds and the bees. You're just like, "Now, son, you're getting older, and we need to tell you about the ordning."
Yeah, right? It's like, listen here, boy. Here's why that tall man over there is in charge, and everyone else keeps calling you a little bitch. Uh, right? Which the tallness is important. Okay, keep that on the
Very
back burner.
important.
Very important.
Mhm.
Okay, so up to this point in D&D lore, right? Like we kind of talked about earlier, each type of giant has had a little bit of lore and a little bit of stat differences, right? That make them distinct creatures. that all just fall under the umbrella of giant, right?
Mhm.
But they don't really have any relation to each other beyond that, right? We have frost giants, fire giants, storm giants, hill giants, etc. But like they just kind of exist, right? So giant craft ties them all together as a cohesive society through a hierarchy system called the ordning. Okay. So now giants trace their lineage back to their deity, Anum the Allfather, whose sons are believed to have been the first of every giant type. Okay. So now, with the help of his sons and their descendants, according to history, Anum
Mhm.
led the giants to establish a mighty kingdom called Astoria. Okay. The society of this kingdom of giants followed a rigid social hierarchy, like we said, which is called the ordning, that started with Anum at its top and then made its way down through the rest of the different types of giants. Okay. Now, we also get some actual history in this supplement of the Great War that was waged between dragons and giants, which is very, very interesting. According to the supplement, thousands of years ago, giants and dragons started fighting each other. Nobody knows why. They just know that it, very quickly escalated into a full-blown genocidal campaign between the two
Mhm.
races. Um,
There's the poem kind of almost states that it was because of a game between one of the giant sons and the
mhm.
dragons, and like the giant cheated or something.
Yeah, it's not quite
It's
clear.
a yeah, it's not very clear. No, not at all.
Yeah, which, I know that's on purpose. So, after 1,000 years or so of heavy losses and unspeakable atrocities on both sides, it ended in a shaky truce. The supplement does hint that it may have been the dragons initiated the truce because there was about to be a civil war between the metallic and chromatic dragons.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a discussion for later. But like I said, both races survive, but both had also incurred incalculable amounts of damage to their numbers and their territories of influence. Okay, and
Mm.
this includes the kingdom of Astoria, which was destroyed in the process. Now, fast forward, however many thousands of years, and even though that the kingdom of Astoria has long since fallen, giant society in the present day still follows the ordning, which is ordered like this. Okay, so as we said, we have Anum the Allfather at the top.
Mhm.
Okay,
Mhm.
he's the tallest and the firstest. Then you have Titans. We'll explain what those are later. Okay, then storm giants, then cloud giants, then fog giants, which are an offshoot of cloud giants, then fire giants, frost giants, stone giants, mountain giants, which are a subtype of hill giant. We talked about those before a
Mhm.
little bit. Then hill giants, then ettins, which are these two-headed giant type things. We'll talk about them later. Then
Mhm.
giant kin, where these are not true giants, but basically they're said to be the offspring of Anum's wife and other kind of like lesser giant gods. So these include Furbolgs, Verbeegs, Vodkin, and Fomorians. And then in third edition, Goliaths are introduced, and they also become
Mm.
giant kin. And
Which
then
which
down,
votekin are kind of weird because they're technically wood giants, but it starts out as wood giants and then goes into votekin, and then some of them say, "Oh, but they're wood giants." It's weird. It doesn't make any
yeah,
sense.
yeah, yeah. Vodkin, I think they cross the wires on a couple different things with that, which is
Yeah.
why we don't have them anymore. It got silly and confusing. And then down at the bottom are the ogres. Those poor, stupid ogres. So now here's how this hierarchy works, okay? A giant is considered superior to every giant of an inferior rank in the ordning, and inferior to every giant of a superior rank, okay?
Mm,
So giants can jockey for position on their own rung of the ordning ladder, but they can never rank higher than the lowest member of the type of giant directly above them, right? So,
okay.
for example, right, a frost giant chieftain who might be considered towards the top of their rung of the ordning is going to be considered beneath like the smallest fire giant runt, right?
Mm.
Which, granted, the smallest fire giant runt is still probably going to be taller than the big tall frost giant because fire giants are taller, right? This is Andy from the future. And I just wanted to say that was a mistake. Fire giants are actually smaller than frost giants, even though that they are higher in the ordning. We'll talk about that in a later episode. But I just wanted to make that clear because we're serious academic podcast for the children.
Yeah.
So likewise, a menial cloud giant is going to carry a higher status than even the mightiest hill giant. And once again, even though it's like, oh, haha, look at this runt, they're still like 19 feet tall. Whereas,
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
hill giant's only 16 feet tall, maybe 17 if we're getting crazy with it. Now, position within the ordning is determined by two things. Like I said, height, obviously. Giants, you are taller, therefore you're in charge. And then accomplishments that are specific to each giant's type, okay?
Okay.
The only exception are storm giants, who are looked up to by all of the giants below them, but actually view themselves more or less as equals. They don't, like really pull rank on each other. And the reason for this is because they have a storm giant king, right? That is elected. And also two storm giants kind of like just don't really hang out with each other much.
Mm.
They're kind of solitary and brooding. We'll talk about that in the storm giant episode. So if we're looking then at the specific subtypes, then right, cloud giants are going to place importance on wealth. Fire giants care most about crafting arms and powerful magic items. Frost giants are all about great deeds and feats of strength. Stone giants are most concerned with stone carving and rock throwing. And hill giants are chiefly concerned with procuring food and eating insane amounts of it. Which we'll talk more a little bit about the hill giant kind of specific stuff regarding the ordning in 5th edition, because that's where it really gets fleshed out a lot.
Mhm.
But to keep it kind of short to the end of 2nd edition, there are specific nuances also to the ways that giant kin and ogre societies arrange themselves, but we'll save that for future episodes. Now, we would move on to 3rd edition, but we are already over an hour and a half here. We did not expect this to become another 2-parter, but lucky for
Surprise!
you, yeah, surprise! Lucky for you, we went way deep into the lore, so you get an extra part of this. So we're going to give you a little sneak peek of the scenario, and then we will see you in 2 weeks.
See you next time.
As the sun made its way higher into the sky, farmers rolled their way here and there into the settlement with carts and wagons loaded with produce. The center of Gillian's Hill had started to resemble a small market. Brunwyn yawned again, stretching her arms above her head. Still no sign of our contact yet? Not yet, a voice called out. Dak, the halfling, had climbed a nearby tree so that he could keep a lookout. Well, I suppose there's no rush. Maybe we can get fresh ingredients for a proper meal, the dwarf said, looking longingly towards the agricultural assortment behind them. All seemed peaceful. That is, until a low, short rumbling pealed out through the hills. Huh! I didn't think it was supposed to rain today, Scrat squeaked. The kobold put a finger in his mouth, then raised it to the wind. Barely a moment had passed when a second rumble filled the air. Then another. And another. The ground began to shake, slightly at first, gradually vibrating more with each additional sound. Kenthiel began to trace signs around himself with a piece of cured leather. The air shimmered ever so slightly as he traced, as if he were painting using colors Brunwyn's eyes couldn't detect. Can never be too careful, he mused. The farm's meat filled with worried murmuring. Some farmers began hesitantly wheeling away their carts. I have a feeling we're about to see just what those pests of giant proportions are, Brunwyn said. Shed, can you get up that fire tower and keep us covered? If anything goes bad, I'll help guide your first shot and keep the rest of you lot patched up. Rasheda nodded and took off behind them. The thundering was getting louder, and the ground was starting to feel unsteady under the adventurers' feet. Brunwyn closed her eyes and stilled herself, her hand clasped firmly around her holy symbol. Moradin, protect us. Guide our hands and make them tools in your grand design, Brunwyn prayed. The dwarf smiled as she and her companions began to glow with a faint, warm light, like flickering flames illuminating a forge. Brunwyn's eyes flew open as she felt something tugging her attention forwards. Watch out, she cried. as she dropped to the ground. A large cauldron sailed over her towards Kenthiel. The elf frowned as he uttered an arcane phrase, surrounding himself in a bubble of purple energy. The cauldron stopped mid-flight, then fell to the ground with a loud clang. "Nothing can ever be easy, can it?" he scoffed.
Thanks for joining us on Browsing the Bestiary. Be sure to subscribe for more episodes and check out our Patreon at Browsing the Bestiary, all one word. We've also added a link tree to our Patreon, so now you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube.
On Patreon, you can keep up to date on any new pod-related announcements, access reference pages for each episode, and download character sheets for characters featured in our story times. You can also comment on what you think the next monster will be, and if you get it right, you'll get inspiration.
And if you're something of a lore master yourself, you can offer us corrections for any facts we got wrong. If you catch something we missed, you may get a shout out in a future episode.
Remember to cite your sources.
And before we go, we'd like to shout out our patrons. Thank you to Carl, Holly, Megan, and Kethri for becoming members. I'm Dungeon Mistress Jayde.
And I'm Lore Master Andy.
May your dice rolls be high.
And your adventurers ever prepared.
Hey, Gog, look, I got another coat. Gog? Gog? Where'd everybody go?